Special counsel Robert Mueller will not seek an indictment against President Trump. Presidential attorney Rudy Giuliani confirming to Fox News a conversation that took place 2 weeks ago between the president's legal team and Mueller. Mueller is bound by Department of Justice guidance from 1999 that states a sitting president cannot be indicted. End of story? Well, not quite. Joining us now, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. Tom, good to have you with us.
Hello.
This is a blockbuster statement from Rudy Giuliani, even though he told our White House chief correspondent, John Roberts, that he had basically said that 2 weeks ago. This is it not a blockbuster?
Well, it is, because it suggests now the Mueller operation is purely political with respect to the president and looking at what the president did or did not do. Because if he can't be indicted, then what's the special counsel supposed to be doing other than writing a report for potential impeachment? Well, that's a political process. The Justice Department shouldn't be doing that. And, you know, the president should stop cooperating with the special counsel and should be shut down with respect to the president in the least. Now, the only caveat there is he says that a sitting president can't be indicted. And my guess is there are anti-Trump prosecutors on Mueller's team who would like to see the president removed from office and then indicted. So there's still significant legal risk for the president from these anti-Trumpers targeting him through this out-of-control investigation. But preliminarily, what's there to do here if they're not going to indict him? Shut it down.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And those anti-Trumpers had best understand that no matter how vitriolic and how energized they are, there are millions, tens of millions of pro-Trumpers in this country who will not stand for any more political nonsense emanating from the center of the leftist minds in this country who just have been feasting on our judicial system and the legal profession.
Well, and the other big news today is the New York Times trying to get out ahead of the IG report, Lou, with confirmation that the FBI and Justice Department had taken the phone records of Trump campaign officials through national security letters, had a mole or spy close to or in the campaign. But despite all of that noise, all of that abuse, it's 15 months later, however months later, they still have no evidence of Russia collusion. Again, shut it down. It's a well past time, and the congressional leadership needs to take ownership here. Rosenstein needs to take ownership and get this administration, this Justice Department, back under control.
You know, it's embarrassing. I have to tell you, it's embarrassing, I think, to this nation that the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, the judiciary itself, certainly the Supreme Court has a role here to utter its voice. The ABA, left-wing as it is, but Wall Street, corporate America, all should be standing up for this president and standing solidly against any further exploitation politically of what has been just a searing 2 years. First, almost a year investigation by the FBI of this so-called Russian collusion, then another year by the special counsel producing nothing. It is extraordinary, the conflicts, the nonsense that has been produced. It is nothing less than a farce.
You know, Lou, and I'm sure you agree, you know, I was pretty darn critical of President Obama. We sued that administration hundreds of times. We thought he exercised powers beyond his constitutional role. It just didn't occur to me that we'd have criminal investigations targeting the president every time we didn't like what he did. But that's the approach now, and it's completely outside the norms in terms of the rule of law and our constitutional republic. The president's got to be able to be president here. And if you don't like him in office and you think he's abused his power, then there's a political process for removing him, either through impeachment or through elections. But the Justice Department investigating its own president over things he did with respect to managing the Justice Department is absurd and makes our, as you point out, makes our government look like a joke.
Yeah, and it is, the deep state is not a joke. The left in this country is not a joke, nor is the business establishment, the globalist elites, because they are arrayed with the national left-wing media against one person, one man, the President of the United States, and he has too few people standing with him against the onslaught and this serious, just awful injustice that all of those forces represent, arrayed against the constitutionally elected leader of this nation. I want to turn to the Senate Judiciary Committee doing it again. Senator Chuck Grassley releasing over 2,000 pages of documents on Donald Trump Jr. following the lead of Dianne Feinstein when she was vice chair of the committee, releasing transcripts. In it all, do you find anything surprising or compelling?
They took a meeting because they thought there might be some Clinton emails they might want to look-see, get a hold of, and the meeting was not about that, and nothing came of it. There was no illegal collusion. There was no evidence of collusion. There was no evidence anything went on at that meeting, other than this Russian, again, associated with the Clinton DNC campaign vendor, Fusion GPS, wanted to lobby Don Trump Jr. on this sanctions issue on behalf of her Russian overlords. What does this have to do with anything? And we've spent millions and millions of dollars investigating this one meeting, and Mueller's still looking at it. Yeah. And there's evidence of no wrongdoing or criminality at all.
And very quickly, we're out of time, but Senate Intel Chair Richard Burr basically has turned over the Intelligence Committee to Mark Warner.
That's
and
right.
They made a declaration today after huddling with spy chiefs, former spy chiefs, without any corroboration, without any statement of reason for their claim that Vladimir Putin preferred Donald Trump.
Well, that's straight out of the dossier. That's straight out of the Clinton DNC dossier. Anyone who thinks the deep state is just running the executive branch, it's well represented in the United States Senate.
Yeah, unfortunately. And we're well represented by Judicial Watch and you, Tom. We appreciate it. Tom Fitton, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou.